Leapset for having me invited. And actually, I think I'm quite not a well-known figure in this tech community, but yeah, probably known in the marketing. So just thought I'll give you a small intro to my background. Like, I'm Jayomi, and I'm one of the co-founders of zMessenger, and I think I started zMessenger about 10 years ago. And my two partners, I think one is there somewhere hiding. He was adamant that he has to come and see what I'm going to talk about the company. Janaka, are you there? Are you there? Oh, he went out. Okay, maybe he's not going to take what I'm going to say. And Dushit. So three of us, back in 2003, we started zMessenger, and zMessenger was Sri Lanka's first mobile marketing company, right? I think some of you must have heard about us. So now, what I'm supposed to talk about today is to basically how I'm going to turn an idea into a great business. But I must be the first to admit that I'm no omniscient. I'm not going to come and tell you exactly, hey, look at all the good things I have done during my entrepreneurial career. I got everything right. No, that's all crap. Basically, me and my two partners, yeah, here he comes, hi Lanka. Yeah, that's one of the guys. So we have done hell of a lot of mistakes in our journey, the entrepreneurial journey. So what I'm going to do here, basically to kind of reflect on what we should have done and what we could have done, and also some of the things that we got it right. So in that way, I thought I could kind of pass down certain lessons, the hard lessons that we have learned during our 10-year journey, right? So, I've been listening to a lot of questions from the audience, and this component of entrepreneurship, the idea, right? People were asking, how do I safeguard my idea? How do I measure it, and so on. Now my feeling is I have a different opinion about the initial original idea, because in all the entrepreneurship lessons or the blogs that you have seen, the idea is given too much of undue credit, right? Why I'm saying so? Because there are a lot of good examples how this initial idea have proven with less value, right? So So the first kind of a trap or the delusion most of the entrepreneurs think. You kind of go to the starting company when you hit that light bulb moment, right? Okay, you have this brilliant idea, and they think the next step should be go ahead and start executing your company, right? That's the first delusion. But I think, I don't know whether we have any investors or venture capitalists here, but I think they know best. Say if you go and tell them, hey, I have a brilliant idea, and but before I share it, I want to sign an NDA. They say, go and fly a kite. That's the kind of a market value you get for an idea. And also another example, if you look at some of the big guys, the big names that was mentioned here, like Microsoft. Microsoft's initial idea was, do you have any idea? Initial idea was basically to make money by selling programming languages. And IBM, if you take IBM, their current business model actually didn't occur to them until their earlier plan was dropped out 5 years ago. And in my context, right, I told you I didn't get everything right. So in my context, our original idea, actually three of us, we were believers of mobile. We knew mobile is going to be the next great channel, right, the third screen. But then how our business idea conceived was not mobile marketing. Actually, we want to start a mobile-based research company. What is that, right? And it's partly because of him and me, because we both of us, Janaki is from the research background. He was a research analyst before he started, and I was a marketing guy at a research company, right? So we kind of actually, but we have seen the problems these research guys are facing, like when they collect the data, it takes more than a month to tabulate and get the result. So by that the time, like if it's opinion poll, people's opinions would have changed, right, over 1 month. So, but then we realized along the process that this is not going to get us where we wanted to go. The scope was limited, right? And if you are working with local companies, you will see that research budgets are the first thing to get cut off when the client faces a recession, right? So it was not at all a sustainable idea. So we just basically detoured and we landed on the mobile marketing. And then, now this is one of the main policies of the idea bias, right? And the second one basically is many entrepreneurs, they think when it comes to the initial sale, right, they think it's kind of a chicken and egg problem. And I still remember even at zMessenger, when we were doing our initial planning, we had a common boardroom at the concept nursery. It's where the technology incubator, right? We were all sitting down, and then we had one of our friends. She was a consultant. She came down from Australia, and basically I can remember she was saying, your problem is like chicken and egg. Our chicken and egg problem was basically, I'll tell you what it is. It's like, say you want to get users to beta test your product, right, before it becomes popular. That's the chicken problem, right? And the egg is basically, how do you make it good enough to become popular before you have beta users, right? That's the chicken and egg. And similarly with zMessenger, our chicken and egg was, since it's a mobile marketing platform, we wanted to have subscribers registered to receive mobile marketing information. So it's like how to acquire subscribers. But on the other side, this advertising community, like the brands, the agencies. Now for them, it's like they need people before they push out their messages, right? So it was like a total chicken and egg, and we were like, oh my God, I don't think we are not going to find a solution very soon. But then this idea came, hey, why not we combine these both two? The chicken and egg, that means our subscribers and advertisers. I'll just kind of tell you how we did it. We looked at companies like large shopping malls or like large retailers where we could run, we kind of came to kind of a discussion saying, okay, if we run a subscriber acquisition campaign, because these are your hard, solid customers, right? So would you kind of use this database for your later on communications? Like when you have a new offer, would you use this database to push out the messages? So it kind of made sense to them. They said, yeah, I mean, we have daily like thousands of people visiting our mall, but when we want to kind of do a campaign, we go back to using mass media. But if we have these regular visitors, we can directly get them to the shop owners, right? So that's how we solved it. And in this, I have an interesting kind of a story to share, like one of the blunders that we did. This was our actually very first campaign, and I had two marketing guys. Actually, one of them related to me. So hiring talent was another issue which I think some of the earlier speakers spoke about. But they went and I think you would have heard about Market, right? It's no longer there. So Market was one of our earlier clients, and they also agreed to come on board with this subscriber acquisition and advertising campaign. But the client had bigger expectations. Client said, look, I don't want you to just go and send SMS alerts about Market. Instead, they asked us, do us a mobile coupon campaign and show how it works. So I was not there in the initial pitch. So, and they came and said, Jam, we agree. I said, really? Oh my God. And then the worst thing said, then they just said, there's one more problem. I said, what is that? And they were saying, well, the client wants this offer, it's going to be the happy hour. It's like 5 to 7. So she wants to send these messages before 5 o'clock. So 5 to 7 period, the people should come with the message and show that text and redeem the offer. That's like, oh my God, now they have committed. So now I'm just getting, me and Janaka, I remember we were trying to get our operations team to do the campaign. So we kind of we thought, okay, if the people have to come there by 5, then at least by 3:30, 4 o'clock, they should have the text, right? So they have enough time to decide. And then, so we started broadcasting around 2:30. We thought that's like, we didn't have a huge base, it's a small base. And this is where we kind of hit our head on the wall. Even at 4 o'clock, I still remember, not even 10% of the messages being broadcasted. The system is stuck. It's not going. It's like, oh my God, what am I going to do now? It's like, we thought this is the end of zMessenger, you know. We are going to not kill the company, but we are going to like kill the entire SMS medium as an advertising channel. So the quick thinking came in. I mean, we had about, I think, 10 incubator companies in the concept nursery. So each company had 2 to 3 guys working. So it's about roughly about 30, 40 guys. So he said, hey guys, let's head down to Delhi market. We kind of texted this message and said, hey, yeah, these are the people. So they were like showing the offer and getting the voucher. So it's really funny, but client kind of, she was not at all happy. And the worst part was we only got our first advance, which was like less than 10% of sales value. And the balance she kind of said, no way, out. So that was the very first bad experience. I mean, but we learned a lot. At least then we had a client to learn it, right? So that is one of the things I thought I'd share. So my entire, the focus of my presentation, I mean, not only the entrepreneurship, I'm going to look at entrepreneurship in a different angle. Because most of the entrepreneurs, they kind of fail to recognize the importance of salesmanship in a startup company. Because various studies have proved salesmanship is the central to a success of any young startup. And I'm not saying because I have some sales or marketing background, but there's a lot of research done and a lot of interviews or surveys being done. So basically, as I come, this is what I think matters most than you do your prototyping or considering your idea and that idea will sell itself. No, this is what actually one of the very, very crucial things in entrepreneurship, right? So, before I get there, I kind of would like to ask, I mean, though the salesmanship is very important, but a lot of entrepreneurs tend to ignore this part, right? They always think first sale is a chicken and egg, or they think the innovation is so superior, it will sell itself, right? So, why do you think like, why do you think it's because we have very less experience in selling, especially if it's tech industry, it's like not much of exposure in the sales management. Can I see like how many of you all have done your MBA? I think most of the MSCs must be here, but any of you all done your MBAs? Not exactly, okay. I have done, and if you can go around checking the MBA curriculum, you will see you will not find a single module on sales management. Why is that? Any particular answer? Right? So
is sales management the same as marketing management, or is it different?
No, that's what I'm going to come at. Yes, actually sales is the stepchild of marketing, right? What I'm going to say, because probably in MBA, the general entry criteria is like experience, proven track record of industry experience. So that's where you kind of get into the MBA. So now to get that proven track record of experience, most of the people who get in there have proved that they can sell. So maybe that could be one of the reasons that MBAs didn't carry sales management module. And also, now if you see there's big boom in the MBA qualification itself. And with this boom, actually the marketing as a discipline also rose, right? So the both coincided. So the marketing was given more preference because marketing was all about, hey, you do the good branding, good advertising. So you don't go and push sales, you kind of pull it, right? That is all about marketing. So the marketing got the due respect, and whereas sales were got actually little very little respect. So that's why I said like sales became the stepchild of marketing. So maybe these are reasons, couple of reasons I could think of why sales was not being sent even to the entrepreneurship, because even in my MBA I had on entrepreneurship as a subject, and where I had to speak a couple of times about zMessenger and financial management, legal, but nothing on sales, right? So other than this sales function, I mean, there's a global survey done talking to so many entrepreneurs of the kind of regrets that they have had in their ventures, right? So one of the regrets basically is starting late. What is meant by starting late is like they have fully developed their product and then only they have gone to the customers and to realize there's a mistake. I think Chandika also just spoke about the topic, and the Eric Ries, the lean startup main philosophy is getting in front of the customer from day one when you conceive that idea, right? Not you first go and do the product and then go back to the customer, right? That's not the one. So this is one of the regrets or the traps that they have fallen into. And second is, I like this, is failing to validate. Failing to validate in the sense, basically, most of the entrepreneurial lessons I have seen, when you conceive a good idea, just go and talk to your friends, family, and see what they say about it and so on. But the funny thing, not only asking, we even try to go and sell it to our family and friends, right? And their intention of buying is not the product quality. It's basically the soft motivation, something like out of love or maybe out of obligation, or probably it's like they feel really sorry for us, so kind of want to buy it, right? So now this is a trap, because a lot of entrepreneurs say in retrospect that they think this kind of gives a sense of false validation, like why they kind of bought my product, right? So this is another thing, but actually with zMessenger we didn't have that kind of privilege to go and sell it to our friends and family, because we were kind of ostracized. Don't come until you make money, I mean you lost everything, that was the attitude. So we didn't get into this trap, thank God. The third one, the deep discounts. And see, not only like you have to go through this pain of building the product, then it's the selling part. In the selling part, customers can be sometimes very nasty or tricky. Say, when they see, okay, you are a new startup, new company, you come up with this great product. I mean, even acknowledging the product is good, but they kind of really try to take advantage of your vulnerability. I mean, they know you are so eager to make the first sale, right? So they kind of say, hey, okay, offer me a good discount, I'll try it. Or give it for free, I'll do it and see it. So that's what. And most of the time, we kind of tend to offer these great discounts. And then the danger here is called roomification. In small industries, this news spreads very fast. So this kind of really endanger your later on pricing strategy, because if you give free to one guy or a 80% discount, the next guy is going to ask, why did you give that one? So I need the same. I mean, it has happened to even us. I still remember, I don't know how it goes, but the news goes on, right? So this is the second one. And third one. And how you can counter is, the suggestion is basically you can look at other sweeteners to close the deal, not necessarily the discount, right? You can probably, if it's like a product company, you can give a free shipping. Or at zMessenger, what we did, we kind of coupled with some other solutions. Say if it's SMS campaign, we kind of gave some complimentary email or something and just trying to band it and give to the customer so that he wouldn't ask for the discount, right? So you can just kind of think of different scenarios rather than, extending the discount. And this point is very important, but actually even myself or my partners, we have not thought about so much, is strategic bias. See, the idea is because you are so eager to make your first sales, I mean, who would want to go and think when you have customers, are they strategic or not, right? I mean, when you are in that shoe, you really know you don't want to kind of go and segment and say how big this guy's pocket is and so on. But if you have that privilege to identify the strategic buyers, what I mean by strategic buyers is the people who can give you feedback in your prototyping, and then they can give you referrals and also ensure repeat business. I mean, those are the strategic buyers that you need to focus on. I'll tell you later on some of the examples so that how we have done it, so that at least we kind of ensured we had a couple of key strategic buyers with zMessenger. And the next hurdle, again with sales, this is basically when you really go and make your first sales call or the first sales meeting. You are going to get a lot of objections. It's no way you can escape it, but you get objections. So by understanding, then you will know how to kind of deploy, how to handle these objections, right? The first one, efficacy. Say when you're a new startup, when you have new product or service, like customers kind of tend to look at in a lot of skepticism, right? I mean, how exactly are you going to add value? They might ask. And in our context, when we said, hey, look, mobile is going to be the next screen for targeted communication, they were like, oh really? And this was, by the way, this was in 2004 or 3, that era. And if you have not kind of can't recollect, SMS was a value-added feature. That means you had to kind of pay to get that feature on, like CLI, right? So they were saying, are you sure, like, what exactly can we do with the small black screen with 160 characters, you know? I mean, email must be quite a good bet than this MS. So that's kind of a skepticism they had on this medium. So how we handle basically, I mean, we didn't dare to go and promote this medium to large companies like Unilever, because Unilever might say, okay, come on, my market is mass market, and on top of that, the phone has a Roman keyboard, right? So my people can't even like type in English, because they thought SMS is supposed to be typed in English. That's the other assumption they had. So we dare not to go and convince them, but instead we looked at other clients like L'Oreal, like very niche-oriented brands, so that they saw the value, because their market was specific. They had that kind of affluent crowd, and this medium fitted to them very nicely. So we kind of focused mobile marketing, if it's SMS broadcasting to that market, whilst big guys like Unilever, we didn't drop them out. We turned the other side and we said, look, use this medium as a complementary tool to your traditional advertising. I mean, don't use it to communicate that the signal is giving, bright smiles, or don't do that, but use it when you run this, write a postcard, like that kind of campaigns. We said, don't do that. People don't want to take that all the pain and go to the post office and post it, Just put a coupon so that they will text in to win something. So that's how we kind of got both parties involved, right? Then credibility. I like this part because being the only female representation in zMessenger and I was doing the marketing, I was facing this problem a lot, because credibility is basically, when you're a young company, the client always look at who are the co-founders, right? And most of the time when I go for the sales pitch, they say, okay, good. And they said, who are the co-founders? Then I'm like, okay, I'm one. Oh, really? And then like, yes, okay, so are you having like tech experience? You must be a great techie. I'm like, no, exactly, I'm from marketing. And then, so that kind of gives the total picture, and he goes to a different mode, right? But credibility is something that really matters, because that's how they kind of judge you, right? They always want to find out who's behind this. And how you can tackle, because say me and Janaka, when we started, we had less than 3 years of executive experience, and only Dushi had about 6 years, and he was anyway heading R&D team, about 30 people. So at least he had some credentials, but me and Janaka, we didn't have much. So the best thing to handle, basically, actually you can tout along some people with solid industry experience. I mean, we did the same thing. We kind of got people appointed at advisory board members to our zMessenger board. So at least we can show their pictures, though that not physically these people are there, So that's how we kind of tackle that problem. And third one, the size. Yeah, most of the startups, if you're a local startup, your size is not going to be more than 10, right? And another thing that customers feel, they don't feel comfortable when your company is small. They are like, anytime you can close and just disappear, right? That's the other question. But how you can handle, again, you can get clients to focus on the merits of the size, right? Now we did the same because when we started zMessenger, the mobile operators, the big guys, they thought, hey, mobile is our space. I mean, we can't let this kind of guys to do marketing, belongs to us. So they also launched the mobile marketing platform. Wow, now it's like a head-on competition and with big guys. So, and they were going to our clients, like especially the media stations, because you must be knowing that we provide the back-end, these voting platforms to 90% of the country's media stations. So they went and said, okay, I mean, we are this company, we have this kind of a capacity, so we'll give you the platform. But then how we kind of tried to win the client was, we said, look, we are not going to come and just install a box in your media TV station. Instead, we will even help you how to do this SMS or generating TV formats. We kind of give some consultancy, right? And even if they don't know how to handle this entire SMS polling and show it on the screen, we even send one of our tech guys to support the studio staff. So in that way, I mean the big players, they couldn't afford to hire another guy only to do this because this was not their core, though they want to get in. So this is another way, I mean, how we kind of tackle like getting the client to focus on the merits of being small. And then finally, I think I spoke about this earlier, the price and the switching cost. So basically, as I said earlier, I mean, this can really ruin your pricing strategy. So how do you kind of tackle it? By looking at customers who are willing to pay the price you quote, or if you think the price that you're offering is fair enough, then probably you are not good at articulating your value proposition, right? So what we did, when we feel like it's something like that, we kind of want to go back and then kind of revamp our pitch and then go back and say, okay, this is exactly why I'm asking this price for. This is the value add, this product will deliver. I mean, those are the tactics that you can definitely use. And yeah, so I was talking about validating ideas. All these things kind of I said out of the experience or how when I reflected on the past our track record. But to just validate my idea, I was like trying to kind of do some research since I thought this forum is, I mean, quite intellectually stimulated forum, so I should give some kind of a framework, right? And luckily I found one. I should give credit to HBR. It's about entrepreneurs friendly sales framework. Because as I said, if you don't have enough sales experience, if you are trying to get it by reading existing books or blogs, it's not going to help you much. Why I'm saying is that because most of the sales material are written for large established companies, right? It's not in the startup context. And I always found it very difficult to kind of absorb what they're suggesting. And but this model basically talks about two phases as idea generation and execution. So here, again aligning to the lean startup philosophy, it tells basically first when you come with the idea, share it with your prospects, get their feedback, refine it, and then you will have the revised idea. And what you do, not to go to execute, but you need to kind of again share it with the prospects and see whether that idea is worth executing or whether that idea is not good enough but you still can go and revise it, or it's total crappy idea. So you drop it off so that you can really shorten that entire R&D process, right? And then prototyping. And the next one, the execution, basically the idea here is in the execution phase, the prototyping, you get your client involved into the process. Now, the one thing I didn't tell, zMessenger in the 8th year, we actually ventured into mobile commerce, NFC payment solutions. But that's not under zMessenger brand name, that is under Auric. So Janki is right now actively running it, whereas I kind of look after zMessenger. So in Auric, because that's not like zMessenger is a very investment heavy star company, the infrastructure cost a lot. So how we did was, actually we didn't go to angel investors, right? We kind of partnered with a prospective client because we are trying to launch this transportation NFC payment system for the transportation, and then another social beneficiary card, the same platform. So there we kind of partnered with these clients, like if it's transportation, we partnered with the transport, like the bus owners, and then another telco, so that they were also involved from the prototyping stage onwards. And the benefit here, once they are involved, see, the research has shown when people are involved from that initial stage, the odds are high that they will at the end buy your product, right? So same thing happened with Auric. I mean, now we have commitment from those clients. Once the piloting is over, they are going to ramp up and they are going to basically buy the solution, and we kind of know what kind of revenue is going to bring in. So that's another kind of a strategy that we can really work on. So I'm kind of closing to the last slides. So yeah, and other than my sales theory, basically there are some more challenges as entrepreneurs you might face, like the marketing budget. I heard somebody was talking about marketing budget. The funny thing, if you ask zMessenger, I think for the last 6 years we didn't have any allocation as marketing in our annual budget, right? And then you might kind of think, what exactly am I talking? I'm being a marketer, the worst thing, right? No, actually we kind of relied on certain strategies that didn't basically put us into this uncomfortable situation of getting the agencies, briefing them. No. What we did was, one strategy we used, we had media stations at clients. So we kind of worked out this semi-contra deals. Half of the service they pay, half of the service they kind of give it on contract, so that we could kind of publish our services or communicate. The other thing, I think Chandika's had done this right, getting awards. I mean, for us, actually, it's totally out of coincidence, and we didn't plan it. But even we kind of won Slim Brand Excellence Innovative Brand of the Year back in 2005. Then got a commended medal from the GSM Association for using mobile for emergency, because 2005 general elections, we teamed up Pafral and we ran a mobile election monitoring system. Wow! So and those campaigns really got the highlight. I mean, that's how kind of a zero budget marketing happened for us. And second thing, the competition. As someone said very correctly, when you conceive the idea, the same idea being conceived about another thousands of people. So definitely you are going to hit the competition. And for zMessenger, from the day one, we had competition with the big guys. And then later on, the small mushroomed up mobile marketing and blah, blah, blah. But the differentiator matters, how exactly you're going to differentiate, and the timing. Because right now, my company, we are working on a deal aggregating platform, right? Soon it's going to, we are going to launch it officially. But at the same time, when we are developing, about another 3 companies, I saw press articles, something similar, but not the exact thing, being launched. So the timing matters a lot, right? It's like how fast you can get to the market. And then repeat customers. Now this is one of the biggest pains. I know, like whoever has started the company, they might say, look, every day I have to go and hunt down customers. You know, it's like daily fluctuations. I mean, last month I made this much, but this month my sales have come down. It's like total hunting. But later on, I'm not suggesting this at the initial phase, but later on you can really analyze your business model, the revenue generating model, and see how you can go to the farming level. Farming in the sense, how you can have a bunch of customers who will give you a X number of revenue throughout. So in that way you can really leverage on your other efforts and acquire more customers. So this is, I think, yeah, I have covered about 99%. The 1% is left. Yes. before I go there. Yes, there's an interesting thought I want to basically communicate tonight, to leave you with. Have you wondered how many serial entrepreneurs are there in the society right now? When I say serial entrepreneurs, like I'm talking about people like Steve Jobs, Richard Branson's. So maybe they represent a tiny majority, maybe 1% of the population, right? So the idea is, nothing will be achieved, little will be achieved without talent, right? I hope you are with me. Little is achieved without talent, and nothing will be achieved without hard work. So talent and the hard work are the components. But unfortunately, these two alone will not get you to be successful in certain industries. I'm not telling everywhere. So plumber, engineer, yes, maybe. But sadly, entrepreneurship and then the financial markets, this talent and the hard work will not always yield the results you want. So then what am I going to say? You might wonder, if my lecturer would have been there, Dr. Travis Pereira from PIM, he might really disagree with what I'm going to say, but he was telling there's nothing called luck or something. I'm not going to say luck is going to play a part, but what I'm trying to say is sometimes what kind of a business boat that you get into matters more than how efficiently you row the boat. So this is my theory. So basically what I'm trying to say, certain industries, the type of the business you get into kind of could be a main determinant to your success, right? So I like to leave you with that thought and this nice saying by Warren Buffett saying the boat matters more than the rowing. So thank you very much. Yes.